The Gina and Matty podcast.
Another show that popped up on my Instagram feed yesterday from Netflix is called Apple Cider Vinegar. Now, that was the first trailer dropped yesterday. It's a 6-part series set around the birth of Instagram, and it follows 2 young women who endeavour to cure their life-threatening illnesses through health and wellness. Along the way, they create an audience and begin influencing people on a global level. Now, the catch is none of it was true. Now, if that sounds a little bit familiar, it's because it probably is. Now, if you can cast your mind back to the early 2010s and Australian Belle Gibson, does that name ring any bells to you? Yeah. Well, she was like the it girl of Instagram, and her following on Instagram was based on the claims that she had used healthy eating and wellness techniques to cure herself of terminal brain cancer.
Jeez.
And she just lied about the whole thing. She created an app called The Whole Pantry, which in 2013, it came and was voted Apple's best food and drink app of the year. People had to pay money, subscribe to this. So she was taking advantage of people who were suffering with terminal illnesses, telling them that they could too be like her and cure themselves by healthy eating. Now, it culminated in just an extraordinary interview with Tara Brown on 60 Minutes. So this is a little bit of that.
I mean, 2009 was a really bad year for you, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. You had 3 heart operations. You suffered 2 cardiac arrests. You died twice on the operating table. You had a stroke. And you were diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumour and given 4 months to live.
Correct.
Actually, none of it was true. None of that was true. She lied about the entire thing. So this series has been created for Netflix by award-winning Australian writer Samantha Strauss. She also adapted 9 Perfect Strangers, that TV show, and wrote Dance Academy of all things. But it's coming soon to Netflix. It's going to be incredible. The fact that this Belle Gibson isn't in jail blows my mind, and just the scope of her lying is just beyond me. Here's another part of that interview.
You're 23, right? Well, actually, how old are you?
I've always been raised as being currently a 26-year-old.
How old are you?
Well, I live knowing, as I've always known, that I would be 26.
Okay, Belle. This is a really, really simple question.
Go, Tara.
How old are you?
I believe that I'm 26.
And?
I have two birth certificates, and I've had my name changed 4 times. The identity crisis there is big, but that was my normal when I was growing up, Tara. That
what do you know the truth to be now?
That's probably a question that we'll have to keep digging for, because it's not something I've ever understood or had answers around.
That's just when you believe your own lies.
And that's the thing, she's gone so far that she thinks it's the truth now.
So it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be an absolute cracker of a series. Like I said, they haven't said when it's coming out. Belle Gibson is played by American Caitlin Dever in the trailer. I'm not going to play any of the trailer for you because it's very visual. There are a few lines in it, but her Australian accent.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, she absolutely nails it. So that's coming soon to Netflix. It's called Apple Cider Vinegar.
Gina and Matty.
But let's find out what's making news in the glossies.
Taylor Swift. What's going on, guys? It's Post Malone. Selena Gomez.
Hey guys, I'm Justin Bieber. Harry Styles.
This is Pink, Gina and Matty's Star Watch.
All right, Jay, you've been talking about Post Malone. Is that what we're starting with?
Yes, Post Malone is set to headline Coachella in 2025.
Oh, sick.
How cool would it? Have you ever been to Coachella?
No.
Is that a bucket list one for you?
You know what? I think Coachella would be great if you're super VIP.
Yes.
And if you're not, I reckon it would be pretty horrid.
It's just a common IP, just peeing with all the common
I just
people.
think, like, you see all the glamorous stuff about it on socials when people go, but I reckon it could be pretty. It's in the Californian desert, middle of nowhere. You're camping, you're stuck. Like, I think 18-year-old me would probably love it, froth on it, but now I'm like, I would like maybe a roof and some walls and maybe toilets and I've just shifted a little bit.
Drinks.
Like Glastonbury, I reckon I could get around, like being in the mud and doing it that way. But I think something about Coachella, I don't know.
See, a lot of my artists that I mentor, this is on their absolute bucket list of festivals to perform
To play
at.
at, yeah, right,
I think
yeah.
you get treated like gold backstage.
Yeah,
at
Bella,
that one.
my wife, wants to go. She's still like,
Yeah.
we can still do it. I'm like, oof, we're starting to get a little long in the tooth for Coachella. I don't know. But it's on her
I think it would
list.
be fun.
I think
What would
so.
you wear is the biggest question. Anyway, Post Malone is going on a tour next year called the Big Ass Stadium Tour. Can I say that?
Yeah. She's
At
still
the moment, it's only in the US from April to July, but hopefully he'll come here. Now, this news, Beyonce has just announced that she will perform at the NFL halftime show on Christmas Day. You know, in America, it's a real tradition for the blokes to get out of the washing up because they're watching the footy, right?
Right.
And she's the halftime. How much money? So even you, Maddie Baisley, you got offered to ground announce at something on Christmas Day. How much would they have to offer you to drag you away from your family on Christmas Day?
How much?
A lot, right?
To drag me away from my family on Christmas Day?
Get out of the washing up.
Are you kidding? I'd almost do it for nothing.
Have you ever
No.
ground announced on Christmas Day?
Boxing Day.
Boxing Day test,
I
yeah.
have.
Yeah.
For the last 5 years, I've done Boxing Day. No, nothing Christmas Day. I've actually been offered a job on New Year's Eve.
Oh, now that's double. It's double price, at least, on New Year's Eve, right?
I think I've got to say no, though. I think I've just got to do... The kids are at that age where they can stay up to the 9 o'clock fireworks.
Yeah.
Like, Dad's not been around much.
You have been busy this
So,
year.
like, if I can take those moments, but, like, to work... What do we know what Beyonce's being paid? I didn't even know a Christmas Day halftime
CJ's
show was a
Googling
thing.
it as we speak.
I reckon Beyonce would have to be paid somewhere in around the 10 million.
It's going to be that at least. Because you think about that story we did about when artists come over here and play at the footy and stuff.
Yeah.
They're getting you $5 million for that.
Yeah.
That's not
Well,
even
that's
on
right.
Christmas Day.
What, Katy Perry got $1 million a song or something, wasn't it?
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So that's going to be a lot, I think. But yeah, that's
Christmas Day.
I won't be watching. I'll be eating prawns with my family.
Oh, gosh. And then just putting the ham back in the fridge for 2 weeks with a tea towel over it and then just going
Yes!
back to it every now and then. and
How
just cutting
good is
down.
it? How good is Christmas ham? I love it.
What
now,
else?
in big news, Ed Sheeran has expressed regret about his involvement in the 2014 version of Do They Know It's Christmas, which is being used in the upcoming 40th anniversary version of the charity single. He said that they didn't ask his permission to use his voice again, and if he had have been asked, he would have said no, because he doesn't love what it says anymore about Africa. It's sort of not putting them in a good light, and he wants to be more forward-looking than just kind of putting them all in the one basket that they're poor and, you know, all the songs that have gone on.
They didn't ask his permission to
No.
reuse his voice, so that's
No.
problematic.
I guess they thought because he's done it before, sure, but they didn't ask.
You got more, or are we going to wrap it up? What do you reckon?
I can save this one for tomorrow about Nicole Kidman, and was that a photo of her
Do it
after
now.
her
Do
divorce?
it now. We're running late anyway. Let's
Well,
go.
there's this famous photo of her apparently after signing the divorce papers from Tom Cruise.
It's so famous. She's like skipping down the street. She's got like her hands beside her.
Pink top,
Yeah.
green skirt, looking very happy, like she's like, yes, finally. Well, she said in an interview with British GQ that no, that's just a shot taken from a movie that she was in, and it had nothing to do with the divorce.
I don't know about that.
I reckon she's got the divorce has happened all over her face.
Absolutely. I'm out of the church of Scientology. I'm away from Tom. I can live my own life.
Yes, I think that's what that. Well,
She's
you
just-
and I have decided.
Yeah, we have.
that's
Yeah.
true.
So Nicole, you're lying about yourself. Gina and I are right.
Gina and Maddie. Gina and Maddie.
Totally wild.
All right. What do you
All
got
right.
for
Well,
us,
today's
Ranger
the
Gina?
day. I'm going to make you wait, and I'm going to tell you that incredible story about baby owls that you're going to be dying to find out. So you'll feel like you're an expert in baby owls.
Okay.
But first, today I'm dedicating to dogs.
Who let the dogs out?
So do you know that owning a dog can lower your risk of dying early by 24%? I know you don't.
Sorry,
own a
was I
dog.
meant to be amazed by that?
Yes, it will. Because I know you're
No.
not a dog person.
Yeah, I know. That's such. When I hear that said, I know how horrific that sounds, but I'm just not. I'm just not really a pet person.
And that's okay.
Oh,
It's
I know,
okay.
but it's
we're not
so-
really either.
But that's like a red flag for people. Like, that guy
yeah.
doesn't like pets.
Means
That's
you're not a good
red
person.
Yeah, I know.
To some people.
And I've just admitted it on
Yeah.
the radio.
No, I get it. We had a dog when Jackie was little. We got it for him when he was 5, and his name was Fender, and he was the world's naughtiest dog. Like, he was a Labradoodle, and we get home, and I think I've told you this before, but he would have ripped every single plant out of the garden, and he had kind of a white face, and he'd have all brown around his mouth like this from the, and I'd go, did you do that? And he'd go, wasn't me. It was the guy next door. And I had him trained, like he had a personal trainer. I was swapping this lady's singing lessons for dog puppy lessons.
Oh, that's cute.
And it made he was so naughty. He thought his name was No. No.
Well, I dated girls who had dogs and I liked their dogs.
Yeah.
Like when I started dating my current wife, she loves it when I say that. Bella, she grew up with Labradors, so there was Labrador, and I loved Bailey the Labrador, but I just don't want one myself, if that's okay.
Do dogs like you?
They love me for some reason.
That's a good sign. That's a good sign. Well, apparently the reason that you're going to live 24% less chance of dying, because you have to exercise with them, because you feel bad if you don't take them for a walk. Yeah. Oxytocin makes you happy.
Oh, gosh, I thought that was a different thing.
No. and here's the big thing, I think, why you've got 24% less chance of dying. They chase away the robbers.
Okay.
Now, this apparently is true. Dogs lie awake at night thinking about their problems, just like us. Oh. Honestly, someone's
asked a dog, I'm really stressed about the cost of living.
Well, if this is true, what do you think dogs worry about? They would worry about
what?
When their next meal's coming.
Yeah.
Postman. Should have chased that postman harder. And maybe the birds. They didn't do a good job of chasing the birds that day.
Yeah, maybe they missed out on sniffing a butt. And they're like, there was such a good butt on the other side of the road, but my rider wouldn't let me cross the road.
And this is, if you think that's a stretch. Also,
I do.
Some experts, no, this is further. Some experts think that dogs can count the number of treats you give.
Oh my God.
I don't know about that one. I mean, they can count. Maybe they can count the amount of times you give them treats, like they're waiting for it in the morning. What's this with dogs only having one meal a day as well? I don't think that's fair.
Oh, they're intermittent fasting. The dogs are big in that.
The Gina and Matty podcast.
For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.